Hey there everyone, Ramesh here back again with another video. In this video, we are going to explore an exciting topic for all you developers out there, the top 10 ChatGPT use cases for developers. Whether you are a beginner coder, an experienced software engineer, ChatGPT can significantly boost your productivity and help you automate various tasks. So in this video, I'm going to use ChatGPT Plus, that is paid version, which provides faster responses and better performance. Without further ado, let us dive into the first use case, generating boilerplate code. So boilerplate code means repetitive code. Well, writing boilerplate code or a repetitive code can be a tedious and time consuming. ChatGPT can help generate repetitive code structures quickly, allowing you to focus on the more complex parts of your project. For example, we can create a RESTful web services in Java using Spring Boot. So whenever you have a requirement to develop the REST APIs using Java, then typically we use a Spring Boot, right? So instead of writing the same, boilerplate code, that is REST APIs, we can tell ChatGPT to generate the repetitive code structure quickly, and you can just focus on your business logic of your project. Okay, so let us go to the ChatGPT over here and let us enter the prompt and let us see how ChatGPT generate the boilerplate code. So here let us enter the prompt. Generate a boilerplate code for HTTP and Spring Boot using Spring Data GPA and MySQL with endpoints for code operations on product entity. Just submit this prompt. Notice here the ChatGPT response over here. ChatGPT basically generated the CRUD REST APIs for product entity using Spring Boot, Spring Data GPA and MySQL. You can see the step-by-step process. First, you need to set up the project and add these dependencies. Next, add the database related properties in application.properties file, and then create a product entity, and then create a product repository, and then create product service. And notice here the product service using field based injection, but you can also tell ChatGPT that use constructor based dependency injection. Okay. Next, product controller, it has CRUD REST APIs, and then you can run the application and you can test all these endpoints. So this is how you can ask ChatGPT to get the boilerplate code structure quickly. And then you can just copy this code and you can modify it as per your requirement. Okay. Well, if you are not happy with this content or if you want to change something in the code, then you can ask follow-up question to the ChatGPT. For instance, let us say you want to use constructor based dependency injection instead of field injection. Then you can ask the follow-up question. For instance, here, let us type the prompt, update the above content to use constructor based dependency injection. Let us see how ChatGPT will update the code. And you can notice here in a product service, the ChatGPT provided the code like ChatGPT removed the field based injection and provided constructor based dependency injection. So this is how you can tell ChatGPT to modify the code. Okay, so this is how you can quickly ask ChatGPT to generate the repetitive code structure so that you can save your time and boost your productivity. Let us take a look into the second use case, code refactoring. Refactoring code is essential for maintaining clean and efficient code bases. ChatGPT can help by suggesting improvements or rewriting a code in a more optimized way. So here go to the ChatGPT and here let us enter the prompt with some sample code and let us see how ChatGPT will refactor the code. So here is a prompt, refactor this Java code to improve readability and efficiency, and this is the sample code. Next, submit this prompt. And here, look at here the response of the ChatGPT over here. So ChatGPT successfully refactored this code and added the comments in the code as well. Okay, this looks good. So this is how you can use ChatGPT to refactor the code. You can compare the code with ChatGPT generated code, and you can identify the differences. And ChatGPT also suggests the improvements over here. Okay, so you can read the improvements and accordingly you can implement it in your code. So this is one of the best use case of ChatGPT. So if you are working on legacy projects, then you can ask ChatGPT to refactor the code and suggest the improvements. and you can ask ChatGPT to suggest the latest version of the APIs, the latest version of the methods. Okay, so ChatGPT will help you to upgrade your legacy code base into the up-to-date code base. Let us take a look into the use case 3, writing unit tests. Unit testing is a crucial part of the development process, but writing unit tests can sometimes feel tedious. So ChatGPT can generate unit tests for your functions, saving your time. So let us see how we can use ChatGPT to generate the unit tests. So here just go to the ChatGPT again, and here let us enter the prompt, write a unit test in Java using JUnit for the following method. So let us give. So look at here the response of the ChatGPT. ChatGPT generated the unit test cases for the given method, and ChatGPT basically covered all the use cases of the unit tests. For example, it covered positive use cases, negative use cases, and other use cases as well. This is awesome, right? So you don't have to write the unit test cases line by line. You just ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT will provide you the complete unit test cases for a given method or a class or any functions within a class. Okay, perfect. So this is how you can ask ChatGPT to write the unit test cases. So whenever you work on real-time projects, you need to write a unit test cases to test your logic, isn't it? So ChatGPT can help you to write the unit test cases for testing your logic. You don't have to spend a lot of time to write the unit test cases. Okay, so this is one of the best use case of using ChatGPT. Next, let us take a look into next use case, explaining the complex code. Sometimes you encounter the code that is difficult to understand, especially in the legacy systems. ChatGPT can help by explaining the complex code in a simple terms. Well, whenever you work on the real-time project, that is a old project or a legacy project, then you may encounter the code that is difficult for you to understand. So here comes the ChatGPT. You can ask ChatGPT to explain the complex code in a simple terms, and ChatGPT will help you explain the complex code step by step, and even ChatGPT will help you to refactor the code and suggest the improvements as well. Okay, for example, go to the ChatGPT and here just enter the prompt, explain this piece of code in a simple terms, and just give the complex code that you want the explanation. For example, here I have given some sample code over here, and just submit the prompt to the ChatGPT. And look at here, ChatGPT will explain the complex code step by step. You can just read the steps, and you can understand the complex code accordingly. So this is how ChatGPT will help you to understand the complex code in a simple terms. And if you are not understanding the code or the steps, you can ask ChatGPT the follow-up questions as well. Okay, great. Let us take a look into the next use case, generating documentation. Well, good documentation is essential for any project, but writing it can be time consuming, right? ChatGPT can help generate documentation for your functions, classes, and REST APIs as well. For example, let us see how ChatGPT generates the documentation for CRUD REST APIs. So here I'm going to just search for a sample code, Spring Boot CRUD REST APIs Java guides. So I'm going to just copy the sample code from my blog, and we'll submit that code to the ChatGPT, and we'll see how ChatGPT generate the documentation. Okay, just search for the REST API. So here is the controller, and here I'm going to simply copy this piece of code, and I can go to ChatGPT, and here just enter the prompt, generate documentation for the following CRUD REST APIs, and just paste the code over here and hit enter, and let us see how ChatGPT generate the documentation. And look at here, step by step, the base URL, and create user is the endpoint name, and this is the endpoint URL, and description, request body, response. So ChatGPT basically provides the dummy data like the request, response, and this is the get user by ID REST API, and this is the documentation for this REST API like endpoint, its description, path parameter, response, request. This is awesome, right? You don't have to write the documentation for the APIs. ChatGPT can help you to write the documentation like this. Okay, even you can ask ChatGPT to generate the documentation for particular function or a class as well. For example, here let us say generate documentation for the following Java script function, and just paste the JavaScript function over here and submit the prompt, and look at here the response of the ChatGPT. Description of the function followed by syntax, followed by parameters, return value, and examples. This is awesome, right? ChatGPT will give the documentation in standard and proper way, so you don't have to generate the documentation manually. ChatGPT can help you to generate a documentation so that you can save your time and boost your productivity. Let us take a look into next use case, debugging code. Debugging is a daily task for developers, and ChatGPT can assist by identifying the potential issues in your code. For example, let us give one of the code that has errors, and let us see how ChatGPT can find the error or a bug in the code. So here just enter the prompt, find the bug in the Java code, in this Java code, and just paste the code that has a error or a bug. So here I am going to give some sample code over here. It has the issue like array index out of the bound exception. Okay, so just submit this request or the prompt, and let us see how ChatGPT can find the bug and provide the explanation and solutions. And look at here the response of the ChatGPT. ChatGPT provides the explanation for the bug and the problem in the code, and also it provides the corrected code so that you can just copy and correct your code, and it also provides the improvements and explanation for changes. This is awesome, right? You don't have to spend a lot of time to identify the bug or errors. Just ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT will help you to find the bugs in your code. Okay, so this is one of the best use case, and a lot of the developers using ChatGPT to achieve this kind of use cases. Okay, let us take a look into the next use case, learning new programming languages. If you want to learn new programming language, ChatGPT can help you on that. It can provide the explanations, syntax examples, and comparisons with languages you already know. So ChatGPT can help you learning new programming languages a lot. For example, go to the ChatGPT and just enter the prompt like, if you want to learn the Python programming step by step, then you can just ask ChatGPT first like, I want to learn Python programming, so suggest the topics step by step. So ChatGPT will first outline the topics. So first you have to learn the basics of Python, and then operators and expressions and control structures, functions, data structures, strings in Python, OOPS concepts, file handling. Okay, so step by step you can follow this guide. So next what you can do is you can ask follow-up question like, explain the basics of Python, and then explain the operators and expressions, and then control structures, like that. So in this way you can ask ChatGPT to explain each topic in depth, and you can also ask ChatGPT to provide the programs or examples for practice as well. So you don't have to spend a lot of time on the tutorials. You just ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT will provide you everything to learn the new programming language. Let us take a look into the next use case, automating routine tasks. So developers often have a routine task like generating configuration files or setting up the CI/CD pipelines. So ChatGPT can help automate these tasks by generating the scripts. For example, let us say we want to generate a YML file for GitHub Actions workflow that runs a text on a push. For example, here just enter the prompt, generate a YML file for a GitHub Actions workflow that runs tests on push, and just submit the prompt. And here you can see ChatGPT provides a simple GitHub Actions YML workflow file. So this YML file basically runs a test on every push, and it also provides the explanation. Okay, so you don't have to spend a lot of time. You can just copy this script and you can automate your task. You don't have to daily type the script manually. So developers also use the email box, so you can ask ChatGPT to generate an email template and you can just update and use as per your requirement. So developers also use the commands, so you can ask ChatGPT to create a cheat sheets so that you can use that cheat sheet daily. Alright, so this is how ChatGPT can help you to automate the routine tasks. Let us take a look into the next use case, creating regular expression patterns. Well, writing regular expressions can be tricky. ChatGPT can help you create regular expression patterns based on your requirements. For example, let us say we want to create a regular expression pattern to validate an email address. Then we can just ask ChatGPT to do this. For example, just enter the prompt, write a regex pattern to validate an email address, and just submit the prompt. And look at here the ChatGPT response. So this is the regex pattern to validate the email address. This is the explanation for the regular expression pattern, and these are the examples to test the regular expression pattern. This is awesome, right? So ChatGPT will provide all the things that you want. So you just have to provide the proper prompt to the ChatGPT. ChatGPT can help you to achieve your task like this. Let us take a look into the next use case, preparing for coding interviews. If you are preparing for the coding interview, ChatGPT can help you practice by generating coding questions, providing hints, and even explaining the solutions. For example, let us say you want ChatGPT to generate 5 coding interview questions for Java developer and also provide the solutions. So here let us ask the ChatGPT to generate 5 coding interview questions for a Java developer. So here I am using Java developer, but you can, if you are a front-end developer or Android developer, you can specify accordingly, and then provide solutions as well, and just submit the prompt. And here you can see, so these are the top 5 interview coding questions for Java developers with solutions. Reverse a string and the solution, and the check for palindrome and the solution, find the missing number in array with a solution, find the first non-repeating character solution, find the longest increasing subsequence and the solution. So this is how ChatGPT can help you to prepare for the coding interviews. And if you want the explanation for the solution further, you can ask the follow-up question. For example, if you want the explanation for this code, you can just copy the code and just ask ChatGPT to explain the following code, and just paste the code over here. That's it. ChatGPT will help you explaining the given code step by step. You can see the purpose of the code, the steps, and also you can test the code by using the main method like this, and it will also provide the input and output. Okay, awesome, right? You don't have to spend a lot of time to understand the code. You just ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT will explain the code step by step. Okay, great. So this is how you can ask ChatGPT to generate the interview questions covering different topics like data structure, algorithms, object-oriented programming, along with the detailed solutions. So let me quickly recap the top 10 ChatGPT use cases for developers that we discussed in this video. First, generating boilerplate code. Second, code refactoring. Third, writing unit test cases. Fourth, explaining the complex code. Fifth, generating documentation. Sixth, debugging code. Seventh, learning new programming languages. Eighth, automating routine tasks. Ninth, creating regular expression patterns. 10th, preparing for the coding interview. So these are the top 10 ChatGPT use cases for developers. Whether you are looking to save time, improve code quality, or learn new skills, ChatGPT can be a powerful assistant in your development journey. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button for more content like this. And if you have any specific use cases or the prompts you want me to cover, drop a comment below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.